This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. We have breaking news right now that we're going to get to. Protesters are back out in full force after a state of emergency and a curfew are declared in Ferguson, Missouri. This is a live look out at protesters in Ferguson right now. You can see people are holding signs. They're walking. It's hard to see because of the darkness if there are authorities out there, imagining there are. It looks like someone there is trying to direct traffic, but you see a lot of people on the roads right now, and there is a curfew in place. Reporter Steve Osunsami tells us that state officials are trying to crack down on the violence that has rocked the St. Louis suburbs since the police shooting of Michael Brown last week. Here's more.
Hundreds of people crowded this small street-side memorial today, crying out against police. It was at the very moment when exactly 1 week ago, a Ferguson City police officer shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown.
I have two boys, 19 and 21, and they could have been one of them.
Missouri's governor at a local church today facing the fire.
This is a test of whether a community, this community, any community, can break the cycle of fear, distrust, and violence.
You need to charge that police with murder.
Just when it looked like authorities had found peace with families here, the streets lit up again. Even the kinder, gentler State Highway Patrol threw tear gas into the crowds.
Someone from across the street threw a glass bottle. Some people are just so angry and so upset that they want to fight the police.
And then there was this, a picture even the family of the teenager killed says is ridiculously unhelpful. Thieves tore into 3 stores, and the stores tell us the police let it happen.
When I made the 911 calls, they all told me it ain't our problem.
Business owners pulled out their guns and guarded their doors. And look closely, those are black residents upset with the scene who stood side by side with the owners. Take a look at the video police released Friday that got so many upset. Police say it shows the shooting victim, Michael Brown, in the red hat, in the middle of a strong-arm robbery at a liquor store. The looters hit that store hard. Today, Brown's cousin spoke up for the store owners.
Every time you do something like this, it pushes my baby cousin's case backwards. See, they're not helping.
The FBI is here interviewing witnesses to the shooting, and police have identified the officer, Darren Wilson. He and his family in hiding tonight.
And that was Steve Osunsami reporting. Use the free ABC7 app to get all of the latest information on this developing story. Download it from the iTunes App Store, Google Play, or Amazon.
An LA County Sheriff's deputy is hospitalized tonight after being critically injured in a violent attack. As Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter found out, the deputy was responding to a domestic disturbance call when he was attacked.
A severely injured LA County Sheriff's deputies rushed to the hospital after a suspect launches a violent attack at the Lakewood Center Mall.
It was an absolutely violent attack that was unprovoked. There was no reason for it to happen. They responded to a boyfriend-girlfriend call. Everything had been resolved, and they were just escorting the parties out from the mall when the deputy was attacked.
The trouble began with a domestic dispute around 8 Friday night at the mall. The deputy went in to find the male suspect involved, while another deputy stayed with the woman. As the deputy was escorting the suspect, who has been identified as Frankie Estrada, out of the mall, the 21-year-old unleashed a vicious attack.
He dropped his keys. The suspect, for no reason, hit him in the back of the head, probably knocking him out. At that time, the suspect started kicking him violently to the back of the head and back.
A Good Samaritan jumped in, pushing the suspect off the deputy and holding him off until backup arrived.
From what the witness said, who basically saved the deputy was completely unconscious, not moving at all, and the suspect was violently trying to kick him in the head, in the back of the head and back.
Officials say the veteran deputy suffered significant life-changing injuries. He's listed in critical but stable condition after undergoing surgery this morning. According to investigators, Estrada has a violent past and is on probation for assaulting another deputy in Compton. He's now being held on $1 million bail, facing a charge of attempted murder on a peace officer.
We're very saddened that this cowardly act occurred in the city of Lakewood, in the Lakewood Mall. It's an isolated incident, but it's one that we don't want to see repeated.
The deputy's family told the department they are grateful for the outpouring of support and are hoping that the father of 2 will make a full recovery and be able to return to the job he loves.
In Lakewood, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The search is on for a team of home invasion robbers. They were armed when they broke into an Arcadia home, but the victims escaped by climbing onto the roof. Eyewitness News reporter Q McCrae spoke with the neighbor who made the 911 call.
The victims were carted away on stretchers, injured while escaping a home invasion.
Oh my gosh, this is bad. This is bad.
Neighbors heard their cries for help.
Last night we heard a woman shouting, help me, help me.
She agreed to talk only if we did not reveal who she is. She dialed 911 around 11 last night.
I can't imagine how frightened they were. Yeah, it's scary.
Investigators say 3 people were home at the time when 3 armed men broke in through a back window.
Now, once inside, police say 2 of the suspects went on a rampage, taking whatever they can get their hands on, while the 3rd suspect pushed the victims upstairs to a 2nd-floor bedroom and held them at gunpoint with their face to the carpet.
Somehow, 2 of the victims got away, rammed through this window screen you see here, then jumped from the roof to safety. They hurt their legs in the process. Neighbors told us there have been multiple break-ins in this quiet upscale neighborhood recently.
You know, we're pretty nervous just because it's so brazen. I mean, there's people home and they don't care.
Detectives aren't saying what the robbers got away with. Joanne Sussner says they stole the neighborhood's sense of security.
I think if everybody does their part and they just keep their eyes open, you have to at all times. It's a shame we have to live like that, but it's just the way it is now.
According to police, inside the house, the victims only got a good look at 2 of the suspects. They say one of them was wearing a black hoodie and the other a red hoodie. If you have any information about the crime, contact Crime Stoppers. The number, 1-800-222-TIPS. In Arcadia, I'm Q McCrae, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The former associate pastor of a Norwalk church has been sentenced to 6 years in state prison for sexually assaulting a female parishioner. 55-year-old Jorge Castro pleaded no contest in July to a 6-count felony complaint. Authorities say the charges stem from assaults on women who attended Las Buenas Nuevas Church, where Castro also worked as a counselor. Church leaders removed him from his post after learning of the investigation.
Police in Hemet are looking for a hit-and-run driver who struck a 94-year-old man on an electric scooter. They say the man is severely injured. He was hit in the 600 block of East Oakland Avenue around noon yesterday. Witnesses say he was trying to cross the street when an Oldsmobile ran into him. The driver apparently stopped long enough to help him out of the roadway, but got back into his car and drove off. Police say the man suffered several injuries, including a broken leg.
It was a beautiful mid-August afternoon and evening today, but will it continue? Danny Romero joins us now with a first check of the forecast. Hey, Danny.
How you doing, Jory, Giovanna? You know, yes, wouldn't it be a great night to go outside and do the newscast?
Yeah.
Outdoors.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, well, you are doing it.
Take this show on the road.
Well, I guess I
are doing. You're doing it.
In a way, visually I am. Yes. Floating above the skies of Burbank, the valley looking great tonight. And it's a gorgeous summer evening over the area. Today, some pretty warm temperatures, too. We saw some heat in Pomona at 97 for their afternoon high today. Chatsworth topped off at 98. Ontario continuing the trend, got up to 99. We hit the century mark in Woodland Hills at 100 degrees today. And, of course, the desert that is Palm Springs, 110, summertime, desert. Do the math. You'll see how it works out. Right now, still pretty warm out there in Palm Springs, 103 degrees still, and still some warm numbers through the inland spots, although a lot more comfortable. No real humidity in place. So Ontario 85, Riverside 83 makes for a nice summer evening. And still on the coast, not bad there, 69 in Santa Monica, 65 in Oxnard. But there are some changes coming. I'll show you those when I come back with the 7-day in just a little bit. Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Okay, Danny, see you then. A defiant response from Texas Governor Rick Perry after being indicted by a grand jury for alleged abuse of power. Yesterday, the grand jury indicted Perry on 2 felony counts: abuse of official capacity and coercion of a public official. Perry vetoed funding of state prosecutors who were investigating public corruption. Perry is vowing to fight the criminal indictment.
We don't settle political differences with indictments in this country. It is outrageous that some would use partisan political theatrics to rip away at the very fabric of our state's Constitution.
That grand jury indicted Perry in Austin, a heavily Democratic city. Most of Texas is overwhelmingly Republican.
Now to the crisis in Iraq. Today, U.S. airstrikes targeted Islamic militants in Erbil and the nation's largest dam. Militants seized the Mosul Dam earlier this month. The U.S. says the 9 airstrikes destroyed or damaged 4 armed vehicles that, according to the Kurdish forces, belonged to militants who attacked a small village outside of Mosul. At least 80 men were killed by ISIS fighters before the strikes began. Many of their wives and children were abducted. Meantime, British planes have begun to deliver humanitarian supplies to the Kurdish capital. In Gaza, a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel has been extended to the middle of next week. The European Union is also stepping in to take charge of the border crossings in and out of Gaza. The move is expected to cut down on illegal weapons shipments. Meanwhile, Hamas negotiators are discussing a proposal for a long-term truce with Israel. An official said the group is inclined to accept the offer. Israel has yet to comment on the negotiations.
Eyewitness News returns with these new stories, including how the owners of cars damaged in the flooding at UCLA are getting some financial help.
And a bittersweet day for roller coaster fans in Southern California. We'll explain.
Plus, a man who was caught on camera being attacked by a shark dived again. His incredible story when we come back.
UCLA is offering emergency assistance and loans to students and employees affected by the flooding last month. A water main break flooded 2 campus garages, damaging and destroying hundreds of vehicles. The school is making interest-free loans up to $5,000. It's also offering at least $214 to people whose vehicles were damaged or destroyed. The money is intended to help those with immediate needs, including car owners who don't have insurance.
Lakes and streams aren't the only things drying up because of California's severe drought. Some businesses say their profits are vanishing along with the water supply. At Folsom Lake in Northern California, boat and equipment rentals, along with food and drink sales, are suffering. Shop owners say summer is typically their busiest season, but fewer people have been visiting this year.
20,000 plus in July. This year we just barely went over 2,000 for the whole month. So, very big difference.
Shop owners say they hope it rains soon so their businesses won't go under.
So the question is, will it rain soon and enough?
There's the key. Yes, we have some of that monsoonal moisture returning again next weekend. Not a whole lot of big amounts in that, but it's something, I guess. just not much. Let's go outside right now and see how our Saturday night is looking. And, man, I got to give props to our guy Jay back there working the camera, getting this gorgeous shot. It's a little post-sunset, but beautiful colors in the skies above Laguna Beach. Live in an HD, that is a great look down by the coast here. A Saturday night looking fabulous. Now our downtown skies looking great too. Downtown LA, still a summer night with temperature at 72 degrees and just a breeze of 3 miles per hour. Our relative humidity there at 61% and the barometer on the rise at 29.91. We're staying pretty warm because of this ridge of high pressure, pretty strong. And what happens with these highs is you get the circulation in that clockwise motion. It pushes all that cool marine air offshore, so it just see some clouds on the beach areas, nights and mornings. Everywhere else, though, not much of that cool air at all. But now, as we move forward in our clock here in our future scan, and we'll see what's going to change up weather-wise. By Tuesday, Wednesday, we see this low start to drop, and now you see the opposite circulation there. You see that counterclockwise motion. Now that pushes onshore that cool marine air, beaches and inland spots, so everybody cools down a good 5 to even 10 degrees in some spots by midweek. But tonight and tomorrow, still pretty warm summer temps. Down to only 66 in Pasadena, to 61 in Ventura, 66 for Lancaster. Here's the hot highs tomorrow. Triple digits in Lancaster and Palmdale. Close at 98 in Santa Clarita, Pasadena at 95. Look at Huntington Beach tomorrow. 81 for a beach high tomorrow afternoon. That's pretty nice. In the IE, pushing 100 in Riverside at 98 degrees. Here's a 7-day Powered by AccuWeather showing you that warm day tomorrow. Then here comes the changes. Mostly sunny skies and temps start to drop down. We get below average, down to 79 for a high on Wednesday because of that marine layer. And at the end of the week, the tropical moisture I mentioned to Giovanna, possible showers by Friday and Saturday. Here's the valleys in the Inland Empire. A hot one tomorrow, pushing 100 degrees. Dropping down a bit, still warm on Monday. Then even more so as that marine layer influence drops numbers down in the mid to lower 80s. We head towards Wednesday, Thursday. And by Friday and Saturday, once again, that tropical moisture in town for a shot at showers on Friday and Saturday. Mountain areas warm and breezy for a couple of days. Then there, too, cooling down and get ready for possible thunderstorms with that monsoonal moisture influence coming in on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're calling it 30% chance of showers on those days. As we head towards the high desert, we'll see numbers up towards the triple digits for tomorrow. Still in the 90s, we head towards the week and then drop it down. Look at this big jump from 101 for a high on Sunday down to a high of only 89 by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But also mixing into that, we're going to get that tropical moisture in place and that rain we mentioned that we need. Well, that's some, not much, but some Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Tropical monsoonal moisture moves
So it'll be 89, but it'll feel like it's 109.
There you go. Yeah. Isn't that good news?
Exactly.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Danny, thanks. It is the end of an era for roller coaster lovers. This is the final day thrill seekers have to ride Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia. The classic wooden coaster is being retired. And
that
what better day?
Be able to ride it,
Let's go. Come on, Jory.
Just a couple hours left for me never to ride it. What better day to go out than on National Roller Coaster Day? Did they plan this?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Colossus was the world's tallest and fastest coaster when it opened back in 1978. It's 125 feet tall, reaches a top speed of 62 miles an hour.
Don't you want to do it?
No word what they're going to put in its place, and no. No, I do not.
That's not the worst one out there now.
Yeah, I'll never know.
That's one of the mildest ones now. All right, thanks, Jory. Here's another story for adventure seekers. The man you're about to meet was attacked by sharks.
And yet he's swimming with them again. ABC's Matt Gutman has his brave or perhaps foolish story.
These are shark-infested waters, and Paul de Gelder has more reason than most to be afraid. It was 2009, a routine training dive with the Australian Navy, when suddenly, that's de Gelder being pulled under by a 10-foot bull shark.
I came face to face with my worst nightmare, and it just took me underwater and started tearing me to pieces.
He would lose both his right arm and his right leg. But it's what happened next that is perhaps most shocking.
To be honest, I'm just not that afraid of sharks anymore.
De Gelder determined to make sense of the attack, learning more about these predators of the deep, becoming a defender of what almost killed him.
They're just trying to exist on our planet, and they've been here for much longer than we have, and if we wipe them out, if we destroy them, that's going to ripple down through the ecosystem onto us and affect our way of life as well.
Pointing out we are more dangerous to sharks than they are to us, the predators killing an average of 6 humans a year, while we kill an estimated 100 million sharks. Swimming with 2,000-pound tiger sharks in the Bahamas, I learned some sharks actually crave affection.
Give it a go.
De Gelder this summer jumping back in too. For Discovery's Shark Week, all to prove they are as vital to our survival as we are to theirs. Matt Gutman, ABC News, Miami.
Coming up on Eyewitness News, President Obama says college needs to become more affordable. Find out what action he's asking Congress to take.
And a woman is behind bars after allegedly leading police on a wild chase in a stolen patrol car, and it's all caught on camera.
Plus, digital dashboards that sync to your smartphone aren't just for luxury cars anymore. The details just ahead.
Check out this video, new at 8. A woman is behind bars after allegedly leading police on a wild chase in a stolen patrol car. Officers say the 22-year-old stole a parked police car late Friday night in San Diego. They say that they spiked the car's tires, but it kept going, even ramming into 3 other police vehicles. No one was hurt in the incident. The woman is now facing multiple felony charges, including grand theft auto.
Cool digital dashboards were once only found in luxury cars, but they're now being found in cars of all price ranges. As car specialist Dave Coons shows us, you can now update your Facebook page or reserve a hotel room without ever reaching for your phone.
If Shamil Shalwani wants to keep up with his favorite team while he's on the road, he only has to consult his car.
My favorite app is the Sports Scores app. When I first saw the feature of the new apps inside the car, I was pretty impressed.
Thanks to his car's digital dashboard, he says he's no longer tempted to reach for his smartphone.
Before I got this car, it was very hard to keep the phone out of my hand.
While these digital dashboards with apps were once only found in luxury cars, they're now quickly working their way into mass-market vehicles.
We're seeing applications built right into the vehicle that allow you to not only order pizza while driving and update your Facebook and Twitter feed, but also to book and reserve hotel rooms.
Say you're in an unfamiliar city and you want dinner reservations or recommendations, or you want to get movie tickets, or you just want to know what's going on. That's pretty much all at your fingertips now.
Mark Takahashi is the automotive editor at Edmunds.com. He says while many of these new systems still need a smartphone to operate, they're designed specifically to keep the phone out of drivers' hands so their eyes stay on the road.
Some systems don't even utilize a touch screen anymore, where you have the display well within the driver's line of sight, but you have a little dial right where your right hand rests, so you can control everything without really having to reach or pay that much attention on what's going on screen.
But AAA worries that these hands-free features might give drivers a false sense of security.
The message is that they allow you to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. When you distract your mind from the task of driving, it creates a more unsafe driver.
They've been speaking out on their safety concerns with digital dashboards to Congress and other safety stakeholders. They have a message to consumers as well.
Focus squarely on driving. If you must use these technologies, we encourage you to pull over and use them when the vehicle is not in motion. When it's time to get back on the road, focus on driving.
As for Shamil, he can't imagine driving without his digital dashboard.
I wanted something more convenient, something that would get the phone out of my hand per se, and I really think that they did a good job.
Dave Coons, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
There will be some high-flying adventure in Ventura County next weekend. The Wings Over Camarillo Air Show takes off next Saturday and Sunday, but we're already getting a sneak peek at the fun. The two-day show will feature several different planes and more than 60 pilots. They'll perform a number of stunts, including formation flying and aerobatics.
And I'm going to have lots of hammerheads, which are maneuvers going vertical, straight up, and then you pivot over and you come straight down.
The Wings Over Camarillo Air Show will be held from noon to 4:30 next Saturday and Sunday at the Camarillo Airport. Doors will open at 9 a.m.
Much more news still to come here on Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56, including the latest on the situation in Iraq.
Today, the U.S. launched another round of airstrikes on a very strategic location.
Plus, thieves target a young man's Eagle Scout project. Wood meant to fix church benches was stolen. What he's doing now to try to complete his Eagle project in time.
And we're learning disturbing new details about the couple arrested and accused of kidnapping two Amish sisters.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Making headlines at 8:30, an update on some breaking news. Here's a live look out at Ferguson, Missouri tonight. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
And I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Residents in Ferguson, Missouri, where a black teenager was shot to death by a police officer, now have a curfew that is set to go into effect 90 minutes from now. They will not be allowed to be in the streets after midnight. The governor of Missouri says he's declared a state of emergency there. This after more clashes between protesters and police. We just saw police in riot gear walk by. This camera brought to us by our news partners at KSDK out of St. Louis. This is a live picture you're looking at. Now, yesterday, police released the name of the officer who fatally shot 18-year-old Michael Brown, and there has been a lot of unrest in this neighborhood of Ferguson, Missouri. All week long, each night it looks like it may remain peaceful. We'll see how it ends up tonight.
All right, moving on to other news. An LA County Sheriff's deputy is in critical condition after being assaulted at a mall in Lakewood. Authorities say it all started with a domestic dispute. As the suspect in that fight was being escorted away, he assaulted the deputy. A Good Samaritan is credited with pulling 21-year-old Frankie Estrada off the officer. Estrada has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder of a police officer. The deputy is in critical but stable condition.
In Iraq, the U.S. has launched another wave of airstrikes. This time, the strikes are centered around the country's most strategic dam, which is now in the hands of the terror group ISIS. ABC's Terry Moran has the latest developments.
The Mosul Dam seized by ISIS fighters 9 days ago, and today U.S. airstrikes pounding those ISIS positions, supporting Iraqi troops desperate to retake the dam from a few hundred ISIS defenders. That dam's a potential weapon of mass destruction. If ISIS blows it up, it could send a wall of water 60 feet high through the city of Mosul and flood Baghdad 250 miles away. But the ISIS tide rolls on. Reports of another massacre, at least 80 men rounded up and killed, more than 100 women abducted. We showed this man from the same village pictures of the atrocity. He fled last week, and now he sees his neighbors are dead. In the past few months, ISIS has seized control of nearly 1/3 of Iraq in their brutal and fanatical campaign. The cities of Mosul, Tal Afar, and Fallujah, much of the border between Iraq and Syria, and now threatening the oil-rich Kurdish stronghold of Erbil.
The Kurdish defenses here are pretty primitive, as you can see. Just dirt berms and a lightly manned outpost in the distance. Beyond that, ISIS and U.S. intelligence officials now say the ISIS numbers are growing, swelling, and they've got the momentum here and across much of Iraq.
Protecting Erbil and its oil, now a major U.S. goal. That's why President Obama ordered U.S. airstrikes against ISIS forces near the city this week.
A new U.S. intelligence assessment says that ISIS now poses a direct threat to the American homeland. So what happens here in northern Iraq, the battle for Erbil, a place few Americans have ever heard of, matters a lot back home. Terry Moran, ABC News, Erbil, Iraq.
An investigation is underway after 3 men are shot in Pasadena near Jackie Robinson Park. Police say 2 men suffered minor, non-life-threatening wounds. The 3rd man, however, is in critical condition after being shot 3 times. There's no description of any suspects. Detectives think the shooting may be gang-related. And we now know the identity of the man who was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver on Cajon Boulevard in San Bernardino Thursday night. 62-year-old William Earl Swisher III of Victorville was pronounced dead at the scene with his wheelchair nearby. Witnesses say he was struck by a light-colored work utility truck with a roof rack. So far, no arrests have been made in the case.
The mixed martial arts fighter known as War Machine remains behind bars tonight following his arrest by U.S. Marshals in Simi Valley. The 32-year-old, whose former name is John Copenhaver, is wanted by Las Vegas police in connection to the brutal beating of his ex-girlfriend. Copenhaver is locked up at the Ventura County Jail awaiting extradition to Las Vegas. Authorities issued a warrant for the martial arts fighter the day his ex-girlfriend, adult film actress Christy Mack, posted graphic photos of her swollen face and bruised body online.
New at 6. an Eagle Scout, actually new at 8 here, an Eagle Scout project could be in jeopardy after someone stole hundreds of dollars in lumber. Matthew Mills points out where he'd stacked about $350 in lumber behind a church. His Eagle Scout project was to rebuild and replace old benches in the neighborhood park. He says he was speechless this morning when he showed up to work on the project.
And I come today with a couple guys to haul them up to the park, and they're all gone. I'm just pretty bummed out because that was hard work. So.
Matt had raised the $350 to buy the lumber. The owner of Champion Lumber is replacing it free of charge. Matt says he expects to be able to finish within the time limit, which is before a scout turns 18 years old. For Matt, that's in about 3 weeks.
Just in the nick of time. Turning now to the kidnapping of 2 Amish girls in upstate New York. Police have arrested a couple in the case. Tonight, we're learning more about how authorities track the suspects down. ABC's Gio Benitez has more.
2 suspects, a couple, behind bars tonight for the alleged kidnapping of 2 Amish girls in upstate New York.
You guys have anything to say?
Police arresting Stephen Howells, a nurse, and his girlfriend, Nicole Vasey, just last night. Prosecutors say the pair planned to inflict physical injury on the girls.
The motive was to victimize, to take these girls from their home and to victimize these girls.
And now, a source close to the investigation tells ABC News there could have been other victims, allegedly, in the past.
We feel that there was the definite potential that there was going to be other victims from these 2. There was a lot of thought process that went into this.
When the sheriff was asked if Howells and Vasey confessed,
there's been details provided to us, yes.
Howells has not yet hired a private attorney, and Vasey's public defender has not commented. They have not entered any plea. The girls, a 7-year-old and her 12-year-old sister, disappeared on Wednesday from their family's roadside vegetable stand. After allegedly being abducted for 24 hours, the girls were set free, barefoot, cold, and hungry. They knocked on the door of the first house they saw.
We definitely did not want to be looked at as heroes. We just returned the kids to their parents.
That was Gio Benitez reporting the alleged kidnappers are being held without bond. If convicted, they could face 25 years to life in prison.
President Obama is calling on Congress and colleges to help make the cost of higher education more manageable. In his weekly radio and internet address, the president called higher education the surest ticket to the middle class. But he says paying for that education is a constant struggle for many families. Mr. Obama is asking Congress to pass legislation that would let students refinance their loans at lower interest rates.
Much more news still to come here on Eyewitness News on LA56.
A very unusual pet adoption today in West Hollywood. We'll take you to a mouse and small rodent adoption fair.
Plus, celebrating a new and improved area along the LA River. We'll show you a special event celebrating the river.
I wonder if there was a cat adoption somewhere near that pet and rodent. Just a thought. Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. The heat with us again, but there's changes on the way. I'll tell you about that with a 7-day in just a little bit.
Today, residents in the Elysian Valley were invited to the new and improved Marsh Park. Take a look. 3 new acres feature tree-lined paths, a free play meadow, and a Spanish-style picnic pavilion. The park replaces a big dirt lot that once stood along the river.
It's a great demonstration project as well as a park that the whole family can enjoy, and we've taken special care in making sure that local families here in Elysian Valley can really enjoy this new park.
The construction isn't completed yet. The Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy plans to add 13 fitness stations along the nature trail at Marsh Park. Today's grand opening also marked the 20th anniversary of creating natural parks along the LA River.
Well, they're smaller than cats and dogs, but some pet lovers say they just can't be beat. The National Museum of Animals and Society in East Hollywood hosted a mouse and other small rodent adoption fair today. The goal is to help smaller pets that end up in shelters find their forever homes. Rescuers say rodents are as smart and loving as any dog or cat.
For food and you. They give kisses. Yeah, I was just getting kisses. Pet rats know their names. They come when you call them. Any trick you can teach a dog, a rat can learn in half the time. And the best thing about rats as pets is that they love you back.
Just don't invite Indiana Jones. He doesn't want any. The adoption event is inspired by the museum's summer exhibit, Dog, Cat, Mouse. It runs in a wheel through tomorrow.
They are cute. Letting kids loose in a Taco Bell kitchen to create their own favorite dish. It sounds yummy. Teams from La Habra and from Pasadena are the finalists out of 100 teams with a chance to win the whole enchilada. It's the 5th annual Camp Taco Bell event, where kids invent a menu item and develop a marketing plan. One team came up with the Brunchitos.
In a hurry, on the go, Brunchito is the way to go. The product we're selling is a Brunchito. It's breakfast and lunch in one as a burrito.
The La Habra team came up with the Jaladito. Customers get to vote on the winner.
Man, some of the concoctions I made up as a kid, if I could enter those now, still French fries and cheeseburger in there, be all good.
Okay.
No? Dinner for one.
Yeah.
Up next, pirates and princesses take over a Southern California park.
And they weren't alone. We'll show you what celebrities also turned out for the fun family event.
But first, here's a live look outside at Burbank tonight. Beautiful conditions after a gorgeous mid-August day. Danny Romero will have your full forecast when we come back.
A lot of celebrity sightings in Pasadena today. That's because they brought their families to Disney Junior's Pirate and Princess Power of Doing Good tour. The event, featuring characters Jake and Sophia, helped to introduce children to the value of doing good by helping others. Actor Scott Foley says it was the perfect way to spend a Saturday with his kids.
This is an event about doing good and teaching your kids the ideals of right from wrong. And you know, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and another one on the way, so any help I can get is a big deal.
Aubrey Anderson Emmons from ABC's Modern Family even stopped by for some fun. This is all part of Disney's Summer of Service, inspiring kids and families to help their communities. And Disney is the parent company of ABC7.
Look at them go. The Pan American Synchronized Swimming Championships are underway this afternoon at the Aquatics Complex at Riverside City College. 13 teams from the United States to as far south as Chile are competing in the event. 223 swimmers are participating in solo, duet, and team competitions. And with nearly 100-degree temperatures today, this was a pretty nice place to be.
That's easy. I can do that.
Yeah.
Can we take it?
I
can't do that on land.
Exactly.
In the water.
I can't have my legs
Could
that
we
straight.
synchronize here on the set? Can we do that?
There's no way.
We need a lot of practice, Danny.
No? Synchronize of one right here. Hello. Thank you very much. Once again, doing it all alone. Here's the story. We've got ourselves some nice weather for a few days. Then the heat changes to cool and then rain. Here, all in one 7-week period. Watch what happens. First, we'll go to our outside shot, our HD camera, focused on Irvine, and our Spectrum camera showing the OC looking pretty darn good. It's a great summer night everywhere in Southern California. The downtown skies of LA also nice and clear. And still very mild summer night numbers. 72 degrees right now, just barely a breeze of 3 miles per hour with our relative humidity at 61%, and the barometer on the rise at 29.91. Numbers today, 84 the average temp for this date, August 16th, a good date. 90 degrees was our high downtown this afternoon. Some gorgeous sunset happened at 7:39 and sunrise 6:16 tomorrow. Watch how clear things are for now. Mostly our high-pressure ridge dominates our weather. The offshore push keeps that marine layer just to the coastal spots, and our inland spots stay nice and warm with that offshore flow. So that means our temps are going to stay very hot for a couple of days. But that high is going to break down, and then we'll see more of an onshore flow to cool things down. But then we'll see by the end of the week, into the weekend, all this tropical moisture gets pulled up into our mountain and desert areas, giving us a chance of thunderstorms. Once again, some of that summer monsoonal rain. Here's our numbers tonight. Warm overnight lows, mainly in the 60s. Tomorrow, the afternoon, heating up again to triple digits in the high desert, to the 90s in Northridge, Santa Clarita, Pasadena, as well as Ontario, Riverside, and San Bernardino with an 81 at Huntington Beach. That's a nice beach day tomorrow. Here's our 7-day powered by AccuWeather, giving you the heat tomorrow and then slowly cooling with that marine layer influence through the middle of the week. And then by the weekend, that chance of showers I mentioned of the monsoonal variety. Here's the valleys in the Inland Empire. Hot tomorrow. Again, average 97. We'll see some hundreds in some spots again. Still warm, but less of it on Monday. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, midweek, really dropping temperatures down quite a bit. A good 12-degree difference from Sunday to Wednesday, and then that chance of showers on the weekend. On the mountain areas, we're going to see a warm, breezy couple of days. Temperatures fall down to the 60s by midweek, and then get ready. Monsoonal moisture, tropical thunderstorms moving through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll put it at about 30% for the weekend on the way. Now, the high desert will be hot again tomorrow. Some winds gusting up in that 25-mile-per-hour range, with still numbers staying in the 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into the weekend, where we increase that chance of tropical thunder, which was also a good movie. I think about it, Tropic Thunder. And then numbers up to 91 by the weekend.
It was pretty good.
Yes. All right, there you go. Enough of the movie stuff.
Kurt Sandoval joining us now, and we're just so used to seeing Clayton Kershaw dominate that if he just has an average performance, it feels like he's horrible.
And you know, it's funny, he was even above average.
Yeah.
But he makes like two bad pitches. And we were thinking tonight in the sports office, you know, if Picasso were still alive, he might actually stop and watch Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Dude's been amazing. In fact, he hasn't lost a game in nearly 3 months. And tonight going for win number 15, including 12 in a row, the two-time Cy Young Award winner struck out 11 And guess what? The Brewers hit 2 home runs off him. And Kershaw, in a game that just ended 10 minutes ago, just took the loss, 3-2. Milwaukee will look for the sweep tomorrow. In the meantime, the Angels took just 9 pitches to show Texas who's the king of town. Albert Pujols just took aim at Austin, Texas. Danny, you want bad weather. I was there last week. Yeah. Oh, the humidity. Brutal. Yeah. Speaking of brutal, look at that shot by Howie Kendrick. What a shot. That was headed towards Jerry Jones's house, and the Angels showing why they're good. But for the second day in a row, comes down to a 5-4 game in the 9th inning. Houston Street, the former closer of the Padres, slams the door, and with this, guess what? The A's also lost. The Angels in first place in the division and the best record in baseball as they take it 5-4. NFL preseason continued in St. Louis. Remember Aaron Rodgers hurt that shoulder, broke the collarbone last year? Boy, is he more than healthy. 11 of 13, 128 yards, that touchdown to Randall Cobb. Rodgers' understudy, Matt Flynn, pretty good as well. Fires over the middle to Jeff Janis, and the rookie speed stratum. Saginaw Valley State shows a 7th-round pick can make it in the NFL. And ditto for Michael Sam of the Rams. He, too, the kid out of Missouri, SEC Defensive Player of the Year with his first sack. You might remember Sam was the first openly gay player to be drafted. And with that, the Packers beat the Rams 21-7. Meantime, in golf, 6 players have shot a 59 on the PGA Tour. No one has ever gone lower. Yet today, Kevin Sutherland had 12 birdies when he reached the 18th hole. He needs a par to make history. He bogeyed in New York. A par would have given the 50-year-old that historic 58. Finally, on to England, and it's good to root for your favorite premier team, but just don't run on the field like Captain Knucklehead there. Captain Knucklehead didn't make the goal, but he did get arrested. And in case you're scoring at home, Tottenham beat West Ham 1-0. Now, that's where they're not going to say, that's my boy.
I was going to say, they're not saying right now.
That's a joke we've been carrying for a month.
It's an inside joke that you see every night here.
Yeah, it's an old joke now, so we can move on.
It'll never be old. Bite your tongue.
New tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. A huge boat catches fire off the coast of Malibu. 4 people, including a child, were on board. Details of their rescue. And a huge spike in bike theft. How to make sure you don't fall victim. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast. That's Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Hey, if you need some ideas of something fun to do this weekend, why not go see a movie?
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll run down what's new in theaters this weekend.
A couple buddies pretending to be LAPD officers and aging action heroes come together once again. It's all new at the movies this weekend. Entertainment guru George Pinocchio has the preview.
Time you boys showed up. A slew of the big screen's original action heroes reunite once again in The Expendables 3. Back again for the sequel, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jason Statham, and Dolph Lundgren. And jumping into the pack, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Wesley Snipes, Antonio Banderas, and Terry Crews. The good guys face an old friend who turned to the dark side. It's rated PG-13.
He's inquisitive.
You should know better than anyone.
In The Giver, Jeff Bridges and Meryl Streep lead the cast of this adaptation of the 1993 young adult book about a frightening future. We see a world where emotions and free will have been banned. A young man begins to spend time with The Giver, that's Bridges, who's responsible for keeping all the community's memories. It's then the young man learns just how dark and twisted this world has become. Where'd you get this thing? eBay, dude. It's super illegal, right? This? No. Huh? Wow. Let's Be Cops opens strong on Wednesday. It's a twist on the buddy cop movie because while the two lead actors may be buddies, they're definitely not cops. Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr. play friends who dress as cops for a costume party. But then some believe they're fake personas and they get tangled up in a situation with mobsters and law-breaking detectives. This one's rated R for language, sexual references, graphic nudity, violence, and drug use. For something completely different and inspiring, there's the documentary Weaving the Past, Journey of Discovery.
I chose to go on a journey taking me far back in time and taking me to the ancient and turbulent country of Mexico.
Filmmaker Walter Dominguez spent 11 years tracing the life of his grandfather, a beloved Methodist minister in Santa Paula, learning along the way about his surprising past fighting for social justice. George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A New York woman is attempting to sing the Star-Spangled Banner in all 50 states, and today she made her 48th stop.
Oh, say, can you see?
That's Janine Stang singing the national anthem. The Star-Spangled Banner is turning 200 years old in September, so Stang decided to go on a cross-country quest to celebrate the milestone.
Go Janine. That does it for us here at 8 o'clock. We'll see you back here at 11 on ABC7.
Good night.